Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort in commentary, Ashton, and this is our ROH review. And tonight's episode of ROH, I gotta tell ya, it was a pretty solid show before All-Star Extravaganza next Friday. Some solid action, some great matchups, and overall just a really fun hour of professional wrestling. I enjoyed it. Ashton, what'd you think of it?
Yeah, this was definitely, I don't necessarily want to say it was an improvement over last week or anything, but I feel like I could feel myself getting more into this episode than last week's for some reason. Maybe it's just because, you know, it had been a little while since we had watched it, and last week felt kind of like a shock to the system, and now this week I'm kind of more used to it because we just saw this is the second episode in rather than the first. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode more than last week's.
Well, I mean, I have to agree with you. For me, Ring of Honor, it's kind of like swimming in a pool. You know, when you first get in the pool, freezing cold, right? You shiver, you immediately want to get out. But you give it a little bit, you're immersed in it, and you have a good time. To me, watching ROH on a regular basis, I think, ups the enjoyment because I don't feel this disjointment with the storylines. I feel like I'm following along with the product rather than us being at two different levels, you know, the product and myself. So I think that certainly helped me compared to the preceding week. So yeah, this is a fun show. Anything you want to say before we get into our first segment?
No.
All right, let's get right into it. Heat of the night. I don't really have any heats of the night tonight. Nothing really angered me about this show. I thought everything was on point. Again, nice build to a go-home show, and yeah, no complaints. What about you, partner?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this was a solid enough show that I don't have any real complaints about it.
All right, there you go. And with that said, let us get right on to our Ring of Honor review. And Ashton, how do we open this baby up?
We open this baby up with a match, as usual. That's pretty much standard for ROH. This is a tag match. We started things off with Donovan, Dijak, and Jay Diesel versus reDRagon, with Jay Lethal on commentary, channeling his inner Ric Flair, and it was amazing.
And let me just say this, because I want to say it in this segment so I won't have to harp on it, you know, in later segments that he's involved in. I love how old school Jay Lethal is and his approach to promos and how he carries himself as a champion. You said it perfectly, channeling his inner Ric Flair. You know, because you can hear him on commentary saying, you know, Kyle O'Reilly, same thing with Hanson. You know, these guys, they love to brag about what they did in the past. Oh, we beat Jay Lethal in the past. Well, in the present, where I'm the world champion, where I'm the man, where I'm the best, they're not going to beat me. I love that confidence. I love the type of heel Jay Lethal has been, holding both the ROH World Television titles and just the ROH World Championship. He is absolutely phenomenal. He's on a roll right now. This is the best work of his career. As far as the tag match goes, guys, if you've seen a reDRagon match, you know how impressive these guys are, especially Kyle O'Reilly. I love his aggression, his tenacity. I think it's cool that Bobby Fish is getting kind of this singles push. Really, the highlight for me wasn't even on reDRagon, because again, I'm so used to their amazingness. It was Donovan Dijak, because this guy of his size just continues to show what a great athlete he is. He's got a great look, great athleticism. I think he's got a very bright future in ROH.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll say he's got a bright future. I don't necessarily know if it'll be in ROH, because you kind of look down the list of Ring of Honor champions that they've had in their history, and I don't think that a single guy is over like 6'2".
Right.
So they just flat out tend not to push bigger guys, and I think part of the reason is because they know that if they do, WWE will scoop them up and then just creates a whole bunch of issues for both parties, really.
Well, then, I mean, that does beg the question. I mean, we have to ask it because wrestling is a business like any other. Maybe we'll be seeing Donovan Dijak in an NXT ring one day. You never
Definitely.
know.
I mean, from what I understand, he's only like 27 years old.
And that's fantastic to
So,
be
yeah,
that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's got a bright future, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, Ashton, and you know, I know that the WWE model, because everybody's like, but oh, look at all these, you know, different types of guys. So I'm not saying that Donovan Dijak like fits this stereotypical mold, but he's got a huge upside with his size, with his athleticism, and being 27 or
28, actually, 28. I just looked it up.
Still, though, Ashton, that's very young by wrestling standards. He's still got plenty of mileage to give. Yeah, just a huge upside to Donovan Dijak. I was impressed by his offense here in this matchup. And I will say, as far as the matchup itself goes, good stuff. Again, Jay Lethal on commentary, I think, was an excellent supplement. I loved, how he was kind of building up his matches because, he is kind of the focal point of All-Star Extravaganza with 2 bouts. And just really putting over his opposition, but at the same time, letting us know that he is the man and he isn't going to be stopped. The finish of the match itself, I thought, was quite clever with the double submissions, and Dijak trying to get, I believe it was Bobby Fish off of Diesel with the ankle lock.
Yeah, that was an awesome moment, and it was great too because he threw the forearm, and Bobby Fish was just kind of like, no, that's not going to be enough. And then he kept throwing him, but then Kyle O'Reilly comes up and grabs him in a really tight sleeper, but Dijak doesn't decide to give in either. He keeps trying to throw these forearms, and they get weaker and weaker, and Bobby Fish just refuses to let go of this ankle lock, and eventually he doesn't even just grapevine the ankle lock. He actually lies down and transitions the ankle lock into a full-on heel hook. And at the same time, Kyle O'Reilly, because obviously he's kind of putting Donovan Dijak on the ground, kind of putting him to sleep a little bit, when they fall to the ground, he transitions it into an armbar. So 2 transitions into different submissions than what they had originally locked in. And of course, both guys ended up tapping out.
I mean, if you're as used to reDRagon as we are, you're just like, well, it's another day that ends in Y, for them. But if you're seeing reDRagon for the first time, you're probably like I was and just being like, damn, these guys are impressive. Because I remember being blown away the first time I saw reDRagon. So, yeah, great win for them. I'm excited.
I think my new indie dream match is Kyle O'Reilly versus Zack Sabre Jr.
That would be ridiculous.
The transitions, though.
I know, right?
Maybe toss NXT Chad Gable in there, too.
Oh, good God. Maybe as far as Zack Sabre Jr. versus Kyle O'Reilly goes, maybe PWG one day would grant you your dream match.
I don't think Kyle O'Reilly is allowed to work in PWG anymore. I think he signed an exclusive contract with ROH.
That wouldn't be a surprise to me. I think ROH is really trying to tighten up their roster. I'm not even saying that maliciously. I don't blame them.
No, well, I mean, when was the last time you saw Kyle O'Reilly at a PWG show?
That's right. Yeah.
I feel like the last time he was at one was when he lost the title to Roddy Strong.
Yeah, you're right.
So, yeah.
So good effort here. I'm excited to see reDRagon again perform on a singles level, at All-Star Extravaganza, especially considering that Jay Lethal is the opposition. And again, I just think he is on fire right now. And great tease at the end because I think they made us think about because, reDRagon are the IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions. And, I thought they were going to go for those belts, but they seem like they're about to grab Jay Lethal's belts, but Jay Lethal just kind of shut that down. And, they just kind of posed with their titles, and that's pretty much the end of that match there.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it was a fun match. I'll say I think it went on a little bit too long. I think, honestly, it's funny because Lucha Underground at NXT have kind of become my sort of standard for 1 hour long wrestling shows.
Yeah.
And I think that ROH is kind of at a weird limbo in between what NXT does and what Lucha Underground does. Because Lucha Underground is purely storyline driven. I mean, obviously they have some great matches, but the matches really wouldn't be as spectacular if there wasn't a storyline driving them, right?
Of course, yeah.
NXT is more character driven. NXT is more, let me show you this character with this gimmick and then put them in the ring for 2 minutes to show you what they can do.
Right.
That's kind of what NXT does. And I feel like ROH is kind of somewhere in the middle where they kind of lack the personalities of the NXT guys, but the mid-card and undercard kind of lacks the storylines that you get in Lucha Underground. And it really just kind of ends up being that you don't have tons of reasons to really care about the matches. So when they go on for this long and it's any more than just, oh, wow, look at how exciting these guys are and what the kind of crazy stuff they can do in the ring, when it kind of goes longer than just getting that kind of stuff out, it starts to drag a little bit. So that's my only real complaint about this match, was that it just felt like it went on for too long. I feel like this should have been like that, kind of like that NXT match, where it just should have been like the exhibition style, just kind of, let Donovan Dijak get some of his power moves in, let him do his crazy, ridiculous springboard elbow drop that he did, let, reDRagon carry most of the offense with their submissions and strikes and stuff, and kind of send it home under 5 minutes. But this felt like it went on for at least 10.
Yeah, I can understand that gripe. I think they only really did it like that because, again, Donovan, Dijak, and Diesel, they're representative of the House of Truth, and they've got so much power right now, and they're kind of at the forefront right now. So I think they want to keep that air of legitimacy maintained, even with their undercard, kind of members. But regardless,
I feel like
just
those
shit
guys
myself.
should have basically been treated the way that Jason Jordan and Ty Dillinger got treated when they were a tag team. Because,
Yeah,
I mean, they basically never won, but on that same note, they still got to show some of their stuff pretty much every time they were in a match. Even when they went against the NXT Tag Team Champions, there were still moments in those matches where they looked really impressive.
right.
That's
Yeah.
kind of how I feel like this match should have been. Except obviously the champions at the time would have been the IWGP champions rather than NXT.
I can agree with that. Yeah. But overall, reDRagon does get the win. Jay Lethal, looking a little miffed. I think he's just really questioning everything. I loved how he was even questioning commentary. Like, have you been listening in on the House of Truth's meetings? Like, is this Watergate all over again? So Jay Lethal, I guess, kind of playing up that he's really feeling the pressure of having to pull double duty at All-Star Extravaganza.
Yeah.
Solid opening match. I got nothing more to say. If you got nothing more to say, we can move on.
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. I think that this was, like I said, a little bit longer than necessary, but still a fun match.
There you go.
Up next, we had a just phenomenal promo from the Briscoes. As usual, like these guys, there's nothing new about these guys being awesome on the mic.
Yeah, that is one thing I'll say. I may get a bit tired of the Briscoes being so OP in ring, but their promos are always entertaining.
Yeah.
Because to me, they're probably one of the most organic sounding acts in pro wrestling. What I mean by that is like nothing they say to me sounds scripted, and they find a way to promote the show as just like another conversation. Like, oh, I'm going down to this place. I'm going to beat this guy's ass.
Yep.
And I love it. I love the sound of their promos. I love the style. And really, I love that Jay Briscoe, he's saying like, this pimple on my ass, Adam Page, which I'm still very excited for that storyline, despite the disconnect that we've had, for already established reasons. And then Mark comes in and he brings up the matchup that they have at All-Star Extravaganza against this mystery team. And I love it because he's just like that really eager, brother coming in like, JJ, I know this is your promo time, but I just got to say, we're going to destroy that mystery team. And it was great, man. I love the energy. I love the interplay between Jay and Mark. And it was just good stuff.
Yeah, they're always golden, man. Like, these guys have got the Midas touch of promos.
They really do. Again, I think
it's crazy because now that WWE doesn't really have that designated promo guy like they had with like CM Punk, I think it wouldn't be much of a reach to say that the Briscoes cut the most entertaining promos in North America. Obviously, you've got to count like Paul Heyman, who, I mean, you could just discount him by saying in-ring workers, just kind of adding a filter on there.
Right, yeah.
So
I would completely agree. I think the authenticity of the Briscoes, is second to none. Nothing they ever say ever really feels forced. I think what I'm really trying to articulate when it comes down to the Briscoes, I believe that they believe everything that they're saying. And I think that's so important when you're cutting a promo.
They really do. Like, it's crazy. Like, the way that they cut their promos, it's almost like they don't know that wrestling is scripted and kayfabe.
Exactly. That's a great way of putting it, actually. It's like they just ventured somewhere. It's like, oh, we can beat all the asses we want here, and then they just started treating it as such.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love, because even when you get like your real confident badass characters, like say a Roman Reigns, right? Even then, and this is not a diss at Roman Reigns, because I feel like he has really come into his own this last several months, and I'm personally ready for him to be world champion. I'm probably in a minority there, but even him, like, you could tell some lines, it's okay, you're really promoting the fight here, or okay, you're really selling the adversity here. With the Briscoes, I feel like they do the same thing, but again, it's just like passing conversation. I love it. So these guys are great.
I love some of the lines that they used in here too, like talking about how we don't know who y'all are, but hopefully y'all know who yourselves are, and then talking about how we can't game plan for y'all, but hopefully y'all got a game plan, but we'll still, even though we don't know who you are, we'll tell you what our game plan is. We're gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah, we're just gonna walk in there and beat that ass. And again, like, calling Adam Page's pimple on my ass, like, oh man. And Adam Page is probably in a locker room somewhere, and he's looking over to BJ Whitmer, and he's like, is he shooting on me right now? Like, what's going on? Like, what? But yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago. I don't even remember who they were in a program with. I think it might have even been when Jay Lethal or when Jay Briscoe was feuding with Adam Cole. And he brought him up like he was a bug in his windshield. And just while he was cutting this promo about how Adam Cole was a bug in his windshield, frickin' Mark just comes out with, he's like a cop darn June bug. It's just like, what? You guys are so ridiculously over the top, and I love it so much. So let's move on. Match number 2, Cedric Alexander versus Dalton Castle. This was incredible. I mean, was it the match of the night? Probably not, because the main event was excellent, but this might have been the most entertaining thing on the entire show, especially with Dalton Castle.
See, here's the thing, Ashton. I was entertained by this match, but I'm not gonna lie. I can even say with the preceding bout, like, the teams did make the matchup for me. For this bout, it really was commentary that made it for me, because Silas Young, I love what a piece of shit he is.
Yeah, he really is such an amazing dirtbag.
They're gonna learn to change oil like men. They're gonna learn to treat women as men should. Like, what? Dude. Oh my god.
They're gonna learn to chop wood.
I love that. That's spot on there. But yeah, it's just Silas Young to me. I talked about it on the last ROH TWitWoW, and it feels pretty refreshing to say that was only last week. Continuity for the win, people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to be doing 2 of these in a row.
You know that it's such a simplistic element, misogyny, or you know what I hear a lot of people say about certain conservative politicians, like they imagine this golden age that either never was or it's long gone, and that's kind of Silas Young to me, because when he speaks about an age that, you know, very clearly existed, but he just preferred it that way. Like,
yeah, like he wants to go back to like the 30s and 40s.
Exactly, and it's so simple again, and it's
back
not
in the day when a woman talked back to you, you could backhand her and get away with it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's his idea of a good time. What a douche.
And I love it, because even Kevin Kelly at one point on commentary says, well, do you think Dalton Castle's just like a reflection of society, or do you think like it's the fault of America? And Silas Young just looks at him like, wow, Kevin Kelly, you finally said something intelligent for once. And I'm just
for the first time, you're correct.
Oh, Silas.
Congratulations, Kelly.
And see, like, as far
I wonder
as
if Silas Young has an issue with Kevin Kelly having a feminine last name.
He probably does. He's probably just looking at him like, boy, who signed your birth certificate?
Your last name's Kelly. I'm going to call you Nancy from now on, boy.
Now get me a cold beer, because men drink beer. And I'm not talking Appletinis either. Christopher Daniels, I'll be seeing you at the Megadome.
That was amazing.
But
your Silas Young went from like a 6 to like a 9 in 20 seconds.
That's how we do it. But,
that's how we do it.
Like men.
Men. I can't even keep it together right now. That's too good, man.
But as far as the match itself goes, make no mistake, I like heel Cedric. I like what he's going on with Veda Scott.
You know what, though? My thing with Cedric, as much as, like, I know he's trying to get over as a heel, he's just too likable.
I think he is, because of his natural talent.
I think the only reason that people boo him isn't even because it's because of Veda.
Veda is great at getting heat, I think.
She is, but that's the only, like, he needs her to get booed, because just him by himself is too good, too charismatic, and too likable to get booed.
I will say this, though. Cedric's body language as a heel is great. You made a great point.
His facial expressions, too.
Oh my god, like when he wins a match, or like I remember when he beat Moose after using the wrench, and he's got a face like, yeah, none of you saw that coming, and neither did I.
Yes, yeah. I threw a wrench in your plans.
Oh my god. Greatest heel promo ever. But, you know, like, so they're cool. Dalton Castle, obviously, huge upside. I love the gimmick. I don't even know if he ever really comes out a gimmick, because you and I saw that straight shoot interview he did, and it didn't even seem like he turned Dalton Castle off.
No, he definitely did.
But it begs the question.
Don't get me wrong. The performer is a weird dude, but that was not Dalton Castle.
But that just begs the question even more then, because it's often said the best gimmicks in pro wrestling are genuine personalities, but turned up to like 11. Maybe that's Dalton Castle, and I don't know if that's like awesome or just off-putting. I don't even know what to think of it, but
No, it's awesome. It's pretty awesome.
But yeah, good back and forth match. I think one of my favorite spots was when he caught Cedric Alexander, I think either springboarding or coming off the top rope, and he just like powered him with like that suplex. Because Dalton Castle, he doesn't look like a guy that would have a lot of power, and then when he demonstrates it, that always comes out well. And then
it's just so weird to see a guy like him kind of imposing his will on people like that, because we're used to Ashley Remington.
Yes.
Like, we're used to the guy who, like, in a match against Chuck Taylor was choking him, and the ref was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, and Chuck Taylor was just like, shut up, I know I've got till 5. And then freaking Dalton Castle, all he did was kind of gently press tuck Chuck Taylor up against the ropes, and the ref was like, 1, and he broke, and he was like, I break on 1, my friend. Like, that's such an antithesis to what Dalton Castle is.
Definitely.
Because Dalton Castle has no problem with breaking the rules. Like, he's a total douchebag. He's just the most flamboyant douchebag in the history of the planet.
And see, I love, though, that we are living in an age of pro wrestling where you can have that kind of variance. You don't have to toe a certain line 100%. You can be flamboyant, but flamboyance, with bright colors and this and that doesn't automatically equate to, oh, everybody's going to love you or gravitate to you. You could still be a douche, and just things like that. I think it's wonderful. Silas Young gets fed up with everything. He even blames, society on Dalton Castle. People like Dalton Castle, so that's Silas's whole deal. He comes up, tries to distract
the entire world thinks America is soft because of guys like that.
Oh, Silas. So yeah, he tries taking the boys away.
I bet he loves Donald Trump.
Oh my God. That's the curious thing, though. I wonder how Silas Young, the man outside the performer, is. Like, when he goes back, I wonder if he like has a good laugh over his own bullcrap, like, or if he's just like, yeah, I spoke some truth out there.
Yeah, that's a legitimate. You really do have to, because, like, in today's world, everyone knows everything about every wrestler, and he's just like a guy that I don't think I've ever seen any kind of shoot interviews. He's never been on Straight Shoot that I know of. Like, you just don't know anything about, and like, he didn't really like. I don't know of any indie work before he came to ROH. He's just a mystery.
Yeah.
Like, do we legitimately have just like this scumbag guy that hates everyone that isn't super into gender roles walking around working for ROH? I mean, I know Jay Briscoe's kind of a scumbag, and they had him be their champion for a while, but still.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, with ROH, I mean, like you just mentioned Jay Briscoe. It wouldn't surprise me if they're like, okay, Silas, so what's the worst thing about you, so that we know all his guns? I'm just incredibly misogynist.
No. Because if somebody's actually like that, they're like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm a real man.
Okay, yeah, I think we found out everything we need to know here. You're hired.
Just be yourself. Maybe turn the volume up a notch or two. You'll be fine.
There you go. But yeah, he...
Turn the volume up. I thought I was at 10 all the time.
And then Ty Dillinger walks in the room and he's like, excuse me. I think you got excused.
Oh my God.
But
that countdown on Last NXT was the most obnoxious thing, and I loved it.
But yeah, Silas Young provides a distraction. Cedric Alexander rolls Dalton Castle up. Dalton Castle loses the match. Dalton Castle
I don't think I've ever seen Dalton Castle lose a match before.
I don't think I have either.
I mean, I know he has, because like they've never made any like points about, oh, this guy's undefeated and how are you going to beat him. It was always just, he's really hard to beat. And that's it.
Yeah.
So I know he has lost. I just have never seen it with my own two eyes, and now I can see I have.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Of course, Cedric Alexander, his night would also kind of sour, because he would get Stokely Hathaway putting a wrench in that victory celebration.
I'm telling you, man, Stokely Hathaway is a fancy middle name away from being the most snobby, smug, full name I've ever heard in my entire life.
I know, right?
Stokely Carrington Hathaway.
Oh my God, where is the trust fund? But yeah, then Moose
And
comes in.
stocks have bonds.
Oh my god, that was just the right amount of obnoxious. so God, see, now I'm not gonna be able to keep it together. But then Moose comes in.
He's the wrestling manager version of Carlton Banks.
He really is. I love it though.
So he's only there to distract, though. He's only a distraction. It allows Moose to get in the ring behind Cedric Alexander and Veda Scott, and then Cedric turns around into a spear.
Yeah, and he just crumples, man. He's done. That spear, it's like, well, it was nice having internal organs while it lasted, and Moose just kind of
I feel like he kind of started playing dead before the spear even connected, just so that it would affect him less, so that he could have more of a chance on the match on Friday.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if I play dead prematurely, he's not going to do anything more than the spear, and then maybe I'll live.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm about to get speared by Moose. I'm literally going to get run over by a moose. Relax the muscles. This might be less.
Oh man. So yeah, great build up for both matches. I like how, they kind of connect both the stories in this one segment. Glad that Cedric got the win, because I feel like since this pairing is still relatively new, get some wins underneath them. I do want to see Moose get his win back though at All-Star Extravaganza. That's who I'm pulling for from a fan side, because I still see all the potential in the world in Moose, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, fun matchup.
Absolutely. All right, so now we get to a very interesting segment inside ROH with Mandy Leone, and Adam Cole shows up. So instantly, best ROH show we've reviewed in over a month.
Exactly.
And he talks about how he's in this number one contendership four-way against AJ Styles, Michael Elgin, and Roddy Strong. But then he also brings up that he's going to pay attention to the world title match, because if Jay Lethal wins, then he knows who he's facing. If Kyle O'Reilly wins, then we're going to get a future shot clash for the title.
Yeah, I had a few problems with all of this. First and foremost, I don't understand why Adam Cole has to compete with others for the number one contendership. I mean, he's Adam Cole. I think that alone necessitates an ROH world title shot.
John, I think you're cutting him really short here. The fact that you're even suggesting that he needs to become a contender is kind of a blasphemous statement. He should just be handed the title.
You're absolutely correct there, my friend.
I can't even believe you would cut him so short.
I know. But, I know Adam Cole is also a charitable soul. I mean, because he does so much work with, just charities and everything.
Yeah, so obviously he's a charitable soul, which is why he would allow people to challenge him for the title once he's given it.
Oh, God, I know, even though they don't deserve it. I'm personally concerned for him that Mandy was breathing the same air as him, in that room. I was just like, ugh.
That's not the only thing that they were sharing after the screen went dark.
Oh, Adam Cole! Baby! And believe me, she was saying it, not him. He said it after the fact. But regardless...
She was screaming it.
But regardless, I also really didn't like, and I mean, Ashton did make a great counter argument to this point. I mean, Adam Cole is in the room with you, and you're talking about the rest of the card. What?
Like, can we get this straight? After the main event was over, we got a rundown of the card. We didn't need two of them.
Exactly. So you should have been like here is how a person talks to Adam Cole. You don't ask Adam Cole, how is the weather? You ask, how is the weather affecting you, Adam?
That's
you
right.
Always bring it back to Adam Cole.
That's right. The wrong example of what to do is, well, yeah, Adam, that's a good point, but the right example of what to do is, that's a great point, Adam. Go on.
Exactly. See, he understands it. I understand it, which is why eventually he will go golfing with us and not you losers. But anyway.
Wow.
Look, that
way
is
to estrange our audience.
Not our audience, the ROH team. No wonder he doesn't hang out with you, Mandy, except to interrupt your segments. And I can't even believe he apologized to her. Like, oh, I'm sorry, Renner. No, you don't apologize.
I don't know, dude. He's gonna be doing a lot more apologizing now that he's a babyface.
Oh, God, it's just so wrong, though. Like, if anything, Mandy should have apologized to him for not having him on her segment. Like,
I didn't think you were going to say segment. I thought you were just going to say apologize to him for not having him on her.
Oh, like, no. Oh, God. No, he's healthy and he's in the building, and you're like, oh, let me just pass up the opportunity to converse with Adam Cole. Are you dense?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? But anyway, to bring a modicum of seriousness to the situation, even though we're always serious in our love of Adam Cole.
What's serious?
I know. I was even saying, like, our love of Adam Cole is always serious. I really am looking forward to this Fatal 4-Way. I do genuinely hope that Adam Cole wins, because I think him versus Jay Lethal would be an amazing matchup, and him versus Kyle O'Reilly, admittedly, if they do want to go that route. I just have my doubts right now. But yeah, I think that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying since the matches were announced, I think Bobby Fish is going to win the TV title, and Kyle O'Reilly's going to lose.
Yeah. So, and I'm assuming you're sticking by that because, Friday's fast approaching. So,
do you want to do preview and predictions for this card on Thursday?
Yeah, that sounds good to me, man. We got nothing else going on Thursday.
Right.
So
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you're interested in our ROH live reactions and you're listening to this and you're into the ROH scene, we'll be doing preview and predictions for All-Star Extravaganza on Thursday and then live reactions to it on Friday. And obviously, Saturday preview. Well, not today. Today is Saturday. A week from today, next Saturday, preview and predictions for Night of Champions and then live reactions to that for WWE as well. But let's get back to talking about Adam Cole, obviously.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you. I mean, do you think he's going to win this Fatal 4-Way, or do you think that?
I think Roddy's probably going to win it.
So you don't think Roddy's done with Jay Lethal then? You think this?
I don't know. I mean, I think that the best result would be Adam Cole, obviously. I think that the most realistic result is probably Roderick Strong. I think that the most intriguing result is AJ Styles.
Yeah. I feel like AJ, but I almost feel like AJ's in there, and then this isn't an insult.
I feel like AJ is above the ROH World title.
Oh, dude, after the work he did in G1 Climax, I'm like, to me, I just associate AJ with New Japan. Yeah. I almost feel like he's in this match to be a supplement, to really take it to that next level, if you want my honest opinion.
Honestly, I'm kind of annoyed by the fact that Michael Elgin is even in this match. I feel like you said you associate AJ with New Japan. I want to associate Elgin with New Japan. He was so much more entertaining there than he is here.
Yeah, I would really agree with you, because it's just two different styles, and, between ROH and New Japan, and the style of the latter, I think suits Elgin so much more than the style of the former. But here's to hoping Adam Cole does win. I do think objectively it is the best result, either that or Roddy, because even the last match they had last week, it was kind of dirty, I guess, because the belt preceded the 2 lethal injections. But, we'll see what they do about it. So either Roderick Strong or Adam Cole are going to win it. Here's to hoping it's Adam Cole. And yeah, this is just a lot of fun. Praise be to Adam Cole, people.
Absolutely. So then Mandy does go over the rest of the card. Bobby Fish versus Jay Lethal for the TV title. Moose versus Cedric Alexander, no DQ. The tag title triple threat with the Young Bucks, the Kingdom, and the Addiction. Silas Young versus Dalton Castle. The Briscoes versus the mystery opponent. ACH versus Matt Sydal 3. I guess they're in a best of 5 series, and they have a third match coming up at this show. And then, of course, because you can't mention it just once, even in the same segment, Adam Cole's match in the main event, Kyle O'Reilly versus Jay Lethal.
But isn't Adam Cole always the main event anye?
He won't go on last, but he'll be the main event in our hearts.
There you go. That's good enough for me.
All right. So do you want to move on?
Yeah, let's do that, man.
Match 3 was the Kingdom versus War Machine. And as I kind of already said it earlier, this was my match of the night. This is one thing that ROH seems to always get right. They always put the best match on last.
Yeah.
With the exception of their pay-per-views, because Adam Cole isn't going on last on All-Star Extravaganza.
Which just confounds me. But that's neither here nor there. War Machine.
I guess, you know what? It's not, you know what? I just realized, John. Yeah. They're not even doing that because Adam Cole's not the main event. They're doing that to give Jay Lethal a longer amount of time to rest.
There you go. So Jay Lethal survives today, but him and Adam Cole will cross paths eventually.
Obviously, everybody knows Jay Lethal doesn't have the kind of endurance Adam Cole has. Adam Cole could do 2 matches in a row rather than needing to wait in between them.
Hey, I know, right? He would just be saying his own name to recharge. But yeah, War Machine just always impresses me. I love these guys. I do believe, much like the Kingdom. See, that's the odd thing here. I'm looking at this match. I'm a fan of both teams. And ultimately, when I look at this match, I see 2 teams, one of whom in the Kingdom that, to me, already should have had an ROH World Tag Team title reign, and War Machine, who I believe will inevitably get an ROH World Tag Team title reign. So 2 amazing teams.
Knowing here. ROH, War Machine won't get the tag titles before one of them gets signed to WWE.
Yeah, right?
I mean, specifically Rowe, because Rowe is built like a freaking WWE god.
Yeah, you weren't even telling me that.
He's got the kind of build and the kind of look that you would have the kind of build and look that he has with like the big old beard and the he's in great shape. He's got all like the tats running up and down his body, and like he's got the kind of look where he could have succeeded in literally any era of WWE/WWF/ I would even say WWF.
That's a great way to articulate it, man. I'm not even going to touch that, but
he's got like a hybrid look. It's like he's got something between like CM Punk and Goldberg. Like
I love the heel work of the Kingdom here, because it would seem like at certain points War Machine would try and hit like a power maneuver, but then the free member of the Kingdom would either like tug at a foot or pull somebody out.
Yep.
Maria, of course, doing her thing, like getting on the apron.
I mean, you said a member of the Kingdom, but it was really mostly just Maria.
Yeah, Maria at one point she got involved, and I think it was Hanson brought her in. She stacked her like on top of, I believe it was Mike Bennett.
Well, he didn't bring her in. He was doing the sledges to Bennett's chest, and I think he usually does 10, and he got like 3 in, and she came up behind him and grabbed him by the hair.
Yeah, and then like he grabbed her and kind of like a fallaway slam position, and then stacked her.
And acted like he was going to do the sledges to her chest, and obviously things got a little bit tense, but then Taven pulled his leg out from under him.
And then they kind of went at it, and then Taven nailed a flash kick off the barricade, which I thought was really well done.
Yeah, I mean, he it seemed like he kind of like he hesitated a little bit more than he should have, but it looked clean when he actually did it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ultimately, though, after all this back and forth, War Machine does get the win.
Yeah, well, I mean, because the Young Bucks came out to neutralize Maria.
Yeah. So with Maria like taken out, War Machine was able to just finish off the Kingdom. And to me, that's a huge victory for War Machine, because it's the Kingdom that's getting set for this tag team title matchup at All-Star Extravaganza, next Friday. So big win for War Machine here. And these guys, I just love their look. I mean, they're both behemoths. There was another great spot in here, too, that I wanted to mention, kind of touch on the athleticism of both guys. Hanson and I believe it was Taven were having a cartwheel off. And, that kind of ended, I think, with Hanson just being like, screw this, and he goes back to attacking Taven. The double teams these guys have, Rowe slamming Hanson down, and then Hanson powerbombing Rowe. And these are two huge guys, so the imagery just really works in their favor as well. War Machine's got all the goods, man, but the Kingdom is still excellent despite this loss. Really fun main event.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of point out, though, I thought this was strange. The Kingdom actually abided by the Code of Honor.
Yeah.
They actually shook War Machine's hands. Like, isn't the entire reason that Adam Cole broke away from them because he wanted to abide by the Code of Honor and they were, like, not allowing him to?
Yeah, I think that was part of the reason.
That's either really lazy storytelling or there's something deeper going on here that I don't know about.
Well, I would hope it would be the latter, but my gut says it's probably the former.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, really fun main event to close this episode out. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So with that said, do you have anything else you want to say about it, or can we move on to our next segment?
I think we can move on. And actually, there really isn't anything to move on to, but we can talk about the post-match.
Post-match, the Young Bucks come in, and they're just kind of laughing at, the Kingdom for losing. And then they have invitations to dole out to a super kick party. Just great. Loved it. They stand tall, gaining the last little bit of momentum before All-Star Extravaganza. It was good stuff.
They super kicked the hell out of Bennett.
Yeah, they did. Just laid him out.
I'm waiting for it, man. One of these days, Maria's going to get one.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they really build that up so beautifully. It may be next Friday. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, fun post-match. You gotta love the Young Bucks and their antics. So much fun.
They didn't stand tall, though, John.
Excuse me?
The Young Bucks did not stand tall.
Well, I don't remember the Addiction coming out. Did the Addiction come out?
Yeah, they did. The Addiction came out and nailed the Bucks with the titles.
Oh, interesting. I don't know how I missed that, because I know I was one. I don't know. But yeah, I guess the Addiction did come in, then laid out the Young Bucks, so the heels stand tall then.
Yeah.
The champions. And yeah, I guess that's perfect, because we're all dying to see them lose the belts. And yeah, they just kind of rub it in, and Young Bucks got taken out. Damn. So there you go. Point for the Addiction, I guess.
I think it's funny that the Addiction, like, everyone's just dying to see them lose the titles. And your prediction is that the titles are just going to go to the other heel team.
Yeah.
I think that there's a very strong possibility that the Young Bucks end up winning the titles.
See, and I love the Young Bucks, but I really want to see the Kingdom get their run.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Right.
I feel like that's more a pick from the heart than the head, though.
Well, I feel like, if you want me to be honest, I feel like the pick from the head would be Addiction retaining. If we're really being honest.
My face immediately went from neutral to disgust.
I know, but I feel like they're getting this heat.
The Addiction are starting to get Nikki Bella heat from me.
Yeah, and I don't blame you.
It's not even because they're bad. I'm not saying that they're as bad as Nikki Bella. They're nowhere close. But it's just like the title run has run its course. Get it off of them.
Well, I mean, here's my thing, Ashton. When you got a team like the Addiction in a company where, I mean, even Silas Young said it on commentary when I think it was Kevin Kelly said that Dalton Castle is a great wrestler. Silas Young was pretty much like, this is ROH. Everybody's a great wrestler.
I loved that line. He was so right, too. I think that's probably why I have such a difficult time really getting invested in anyone in ROH, because everyone kind of feels the same.
Yeah, exactly. So when you've got the Addiction as champions, and there's really nothing about their moveset or just their in-ring ability that sets them apart from everybody else, who already is just insanely good, or just, exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's also why I love Dalton Castle so much, because he's just so different.
Yeah, I mean, he's just different in virtually every aspect.
He's like a drop of red in a bucket of gray paint.
There you go. Beautifully said, man. Damn. I'm not even going to touch that. Do you have anything else you want to say, or we can move on to high spots, low shots?
No. After the match, we got a rundown of All-Star Extravaganza, and they showed some promos and stuff, and that was pretty cool. But there's nothing really notable coming out of that, so let's move on. All
right, high spots and low shots. I'm gonna say that my low shots are the Kingdom, because I think it was King Karina. It may have been Kevin Kelly, but I would say it was Karina. Had a great line on commentary saying, in a world where momentum is just about everything, given that everybody who was involved in All-Star Extravaganza, they were involved in some way in this episode tonight, either in a match or whatever. And, he said wins are important. The Kingdom didn't get a win. They lost. So if momentum is everything, then the Kingdom is really got everything going against them right now. So they had a really horrible night, and they lost to a team that isn't even in this match with them. They're outsiders in the division right now when you talk about contendership and title holders.
Yeah.
So... yeah, really rough night for the Kingdom.
Good pick. I'm going to make my low shot Dalton Castle, because, you even said it, or I guess I should say you quoted it from whoever said it on commentary. Momentum is everything, and Dalton Castle lost a match thanks a lot to Silas Young, who he's going to be facing.
Yeah, absolutely. Silas Young, give him the assist, came in, tried to take the boys away. It was enough to deter Dalton Castle's attention from Cedric. Cedric capitalized. So great low shot there.
Teach them how to be real men.
Oh, I'm actually rooting for Silas, to be honest. I think there's more interesting storytelling possibilities with Silas taking away Dalton Castle's boy.
And see, I think there's a lot that you could do with either one. Silas Young trying to be a boy and trying to fit in, and just, in general, just a complete 180 for him. Even if he's resistant the whole way, it's eventually going to turn him face, you would have to think.
And that's just it. Can you imagine the character progression for Silas Young if he gave in and he actually started to enjoy it?
I think that we would actually get to see a better sort of side of him as a performer, because he's been doing this real man thing for years now, it seems like.
Yeah, he's been doing it for so long, and again, you and I were even kind of questioning, is this the real, what is he like when he goes, behind the curtain? But, keeping the conversation going, my high spot in that same vein, War Machine. Very impressive victory tonight. And really, here's what I would like to see. I don't want to see them get added to this match, making it like a 4-way tag team matchup.
I could buy into that, though.
I could buy into that after tonight. I could. But I like the story that they've told with these three teams, just all of them interrelating with each other. I would much rather War Machine gets kind of their own spotlight with the Kingdom emerging as champions.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe if the Kingdom wins, then that makes War Machine the automatic kind of number one contenders once Addiction gets their rematch clause out.
I would certainly think so. But yeah, and... again, in a world where they said momentum is everything, War Machine stopped the Kingdom's momentum. And you have to imagine, even if the Kingdom does lose this match, They beat one of the top contenders for the tag titles, so I guess by association that should make them now one of the top contenders for the title. So a great night for this team. So War Machine's my high spot.
Absolutely. All right. So my high spot, obviously everyone knows that my real high spot's Adam Cole, but my honorary high spot, of course, is the Briscoes, because I just can't find it in my heart to give Cedric Alexander my high spot, given that he had as much help as he did. reDRagon won a match that reDRagon should have won in the first place, so no real special anything there. The Briscoes, though, just continue to be insanely entertaining, so I got to give it to them.
I think it says a lot about an act where you don't do anything in the ring, and you did have some quality matchups on this episode, again, to your point, especially that main event we just got done talking about. And yet, words...
I would have given my high spot to War Machine, but you didn't. I like
right.
So
exactly. But I think I still love it anyway, because I was even getting ready to say, it says a lot about an act where they can still make you remember them from their words instead of their fists. And yeah. I think, the Briscoes, they just do so well at promos. And again, I have to agree with your assessment that they're the best promo cutters in North America, because, Paul Heyman isn't an in-ring guy. So, with the Briscoes, I think there's that added pressure there, because you're working in ring, you're producing a product. So not only are you selling the product, but you're producing it. It's twofold. And I feel like the Briscoes, they just do a magnificent job, walking that line. And yeah, I love your high spot. So there you go.
I didn't really think about it, but 5 years ago, you never would have convinced me that in a world where the Briscoes are some of the best talkers for in-ring workers in North America, one of the guys challenging them for that spot would end up being Tyler freaking Black, Seth Rollins.
Yeah, right? Crazy how times change.
Yeah, he has gotten so much better. It's incredible.
He's really come into his own.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody go from being just incapable of cutting a compelling promo to as good as he is in as little time as he has.
The guy works. I told you the story about, my friend who, tried teaching me commentary, and he said, like, this is what I consider a horrible promo. And it was a Tyler Black promo. And, to go from that to a guy that is really just in terms of being a heel champion, great on the mic to me. It really says something. And I'd say the same thing, at least with this current run, about Jay Lethal. Not that he was ever abysmal, but to find the kind of personality that he has and to really have that old school feel carrying both of these titles.
Yeah, the thing with Jay Lethal, I don't think Jay Lethal was ever really bad at promos. I think he just kind of went from, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, he went from like a 5 to a 9, maybe an 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
Whereas with Rollins, like, he went from like a -3 to like an 8.
Yeah. Monumental difference in Seth Rollins' promo ability. And yeah, and then you think about the Briscoes, and we already talked about all the merits of how they cut promos. Yeah. It's a lot of good talent out there, to be sure. Yeah. Any closing remarks?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view, and hopefully we're able to get our hands on it. I don't know for sure if we're going to be able to do actual live reactions to it, or if we're going to have to wait until the following day to do them, but we will see. And I think that the only really thing that I want to say is that I as much as I'm looking forward to that, there's nothing that I'm looking more forward to than Bola.
Oh, that's going to be so good. All right, guys. Well, with that said, this has been ROH. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. What did you think of ROH this week? Well, how did you think Mandy Leone handled Adam Cole being in the same room as her? Do you feel like she was disrespectful like I do, or do you feel like she handled it well enough? What do you think of War Machine upsetting the Kingdom? What do you think that means for their tag team championship futures? What do you think about Silas Young and Dalton Castle? Be sure to take the conversation over to Puitoff, an amazing pro wrestling group on Facebook. But I get it, if you're not one for Facebook groups because of the incessant notifications and all the traffic and this and that, Ashton has created a nice, serene place, a TWitWoW subreddit where you will see all of our content, and a nice little niche community of just our best fans and wrestling fans. And you could just create any thread that you'd want about anything related to pro wrestling, you know, to Ashton or myself, or to both of us, because I love a good conversation. And guys, I mean, next week, we've got so much coming your way. I mean, you know, Wednesday, we've got Lucha Underground Rewatch Episode 6 and our NXT review. Thursday, we're going to have All-Star Extravaganza preview and predictions. As Ashton said, live reactions for All-Star Extravaganza will either be Friday or, you know, the day after. We'll see, because we never know if we're going to have technical difficulties. And again, guys, like Ashton said last week, be on the lookout for Bola live reactions. As soon as we get our hands on that, we're doing it. It looks like a stellar tournament, so a lot of content coming through the pipeline very soon. We always appreciate the viewership and support. We love you guys, and until then, tune in and peace out.